Dennis Kucinich? There was a congressman back in 2001 called Dennis Kucinich. He wrote the Space Preservation Act of 2001, and it was an act to combat satellite weapons. He recognized that we are being watched and tortured as American citizens, and so he tried to pass that, and it didn't get passed on the legislative floor. So then you had another guy that came out of the woodwork. His name was Dr. Robert Duncan, and Dr. Robert Duncan was a CIA operative who was doing all these studies on American people. And it finally reversed on him. He was coming after their family and torturing his family. He says, well, the hell with this. I've got to bow out. It's out of control. He even said that. He said on several videos, on YouTube video and the internet, that yes, we are being targeted and tortured, and they are some being emotional because of what they stand for, what they're doing. And the way he says it is that it's just gone out of control. The government has no control of this weapons that are being used. It's been hacked.
How you differentiate between the conspiracy and the reality?
How do I differentiate between what?
The conspiracy theories and the reality.
The reality is that the conspiracy is there. It's obvious. Why the conspiracy is there is because you have people like Dennis Kucinich, the congressman, and you have Dr. Robert Duncan, who are writing books on this, and who's even talked to Governor Ventura and to other people on YouTube that this is going on.
How does it affect to you?
It does affects me quite a bit, because I mean, you have to distinguish between your body and your pain and ache versus their studies, their torturing. I'm not going to sit here every day and have chest pains and then jump and go to the hospital every day when the doctor says I'm fine. You know, it's just that's the alarming thing about it. You know, it's like you're being coerced to go spend money that you don't even have. You know, it's like, okay, you know, is this really pain, or is it, you know, something I'm having? You know, it's pretty scary. It's really it's really realistically insane of what they're doing. I mean, it's not fair to the American people, because the ones that are poor don't have any money.
And do you think it happens with everybody or specific persons?
I think it happens to people that more so that have worked for the government at one point in time, and that who are coming out saying this, because it's devastating. You know, it's not fair that I'm being studied on, and you know, I'm being choosing an experiment. I mean, I live out every day. I live my life every day in a fishbowl, meaning that everybody can look inside the fishbowl and see me swimming around in circles, or boxed into this confinement institution of being implanted and tracked every day. My mind's being broadcasted every day. People I talk to are affected. You know, whether you're race or not, you're being targeted and tortured every day, based on my communications or based on where I'm at. You know, and it's not fair. You know, had they not used me as an experiment and put me in the limelight, in the spotlight, you know, I wouldn't care so much. You know, it's like, but the facts are the facts. Is that yes, we're being watched, and yes, we're being implanted and tortured, and that's the way it is. You know, we have to face reality that is happening.
Any relationship issues or anything?
I have problems holding relationships, but it's hard because, you know, it's like, what do you tell them? You know, you got to be nice, you got to be fair to them. Hey, you know, I have PTSD, I have a schizophrenia disorder. Well, what is it about? Well, I mean, I'm being stalked by satellites and I'm implanted. You know, you lose relationships over that. It's a scary situation.
But you said that you disagree with the diagnosis, is that correct?
Yeah, I do totally disagree. You know, if I had my way in court, if I was to see a judge right now, I would give him substantive evidence as to why and how this is going.
Then how this medication works for you?
I go to strictly use exactly what it's for, to help me sleep. I get some sleep.
So do you try other sleeping medication? Why this?
No, I get my sleep and I'm fine. I wake up in the morning and then I try to get into positive thoughts and get away from the negative thoughts. You know.
What I'm saying is the olanzapine is an antipsychotic medication.
Yeah, it's working. I mean, it's doing its job. I'm getting some sleep, but the fact is that it doesn't stop the pain. It's not a painkiller. You know, I can take antipsychotic medication, but the fact is that when I'm tortured and targeted, and I'm being tortured with that satellite,
I'm saying is, if it is just for a sleep, there are other lot of sleep medications, because this has more side effects with your lipids, cholesterol, and more So if it's just an issue for a sleep,
Okay. You want to change that? Is that?
no, I'm just asking you like how if you're saying that it is just a sleep thing.
Well, it's working. I'm getting some sleep, but as for the pain and stuff, I don't have any high blood pressure. I mean, I run 9 miles every 2 weeks. I mean, I stay fit. But when you're tortured, it's not going to stop the torture and pain. It's like they're watching you, you're torturing you. It's like they're not. It's not It's not a painkiller. So I can take all the psychotic medication in the market, but it's not going to stop the pain. You're tortured. You're targeted.
Do you drink alcohol?
I have maybe one, but that's on the weekends. Maybe on the weekend, maybe one.
Have you lost any weight?
No, I've been stable at 185. I've been at 185, stable at 185. But it's been a hot summer, so I mean, running and everything else, I stay pretty fit and thin. Yeah, if like I said, if it wasn't for Dr. Robert Duncan, the CIA operative, for Dennis Kucinich, the congressman, for Dr. John Hall in his book, Satellite Weapons, for the ICAACT organization for freedom from covert harassment, all these organizations are out there to help people and help veterans and employees that are being targeted and tortured. I mean, it's out there. We got to face that they are crises out there. There's a crisis out there, and people are helping people recognize that and realizing that. Some of them have worked for the government and they have their own crisis intervention. And like I said, the ICAACT organization and the Freedom from Covert Harassment are prime examples. And I stay in contact with these guys all the time on Facebook. And I communicate with these guys. Matter of fact, I just talked to a lady from the VA. She was a VA targeted. I talked to a VA representative working for the VA, and she is being tortured and targeted. And I mean, I can show you where we have communicated. And she's in the same link with the ICAACT organization. And I asked her, I said, do you recognize this? She says, yeah. I said, but so am I. Am I going to blow the whistle on this? No, I can't. I got a job. I got a job to hold. I said, okay. But there are other government employees are involved in this whole loop thing. And it's a sad deal.
Any other stressors or anything apart from the one?
No, I mean, like I said, I try to live a normal life. I try to get out. I don't stay at home too much because I know that's when my trouble starts to worsen. If I stay at home and confined in one situation, you're more so being studied and you're being analyzed and you're being tortured. But if you get up and do something, it's like, okay, all right, the guy's moving now. We can analyze something or do something other than, it's like.
Okay. So.
I mean, to tell you the truth, I feel like a puppet being puppeteered. That's basically, that's just to sum it up. The pain that they're inflicting is I'm being puppeteered by manipulations of satellite weapons. I mean, it doesn't bother me as much as work, but it's because I think they respect the fact that I have a job. But when I'm not working, and I come back, that's when they start annoying me again. It's like, okay, guys, you either want me to stay home and not work, or you want me to go work and pay my taxes and do something productive for what I'm getting compensated for. Doesn't make any sense. If they're compensating me, it would be smart enough for me to go back to work, stay medicated, and go back to work and pay taxes. You know, why would you want to keep a veteran home when he can go work and give back to what he's getting?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to do.
So, okay, so like the last labs looks okay that were from the last time we had was in January.
Yeah, I'm scheduled to give labs on the 5th of August.
5th of August.
So I'll be back to give labs on the 5th of August
Okay.
after I fasted. But I've got the receipt at home, the paperwork. They mailed me, and then I got to see the doctor, my primary care doctor, Dr. Araya.
So your last blood pressure was in May. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll renew the medications, and then I'll take you to the nurse to get your blood pressure in the reins, which is kind of the mandatory for the
Okay.
and I'll see you back in 5 months.
Okay.
Okay. So total, how long you were in the military? How many years?
Well, I was in from 93 to my obligation ended in 2001. Obligation completed in 2001 in active reserves. That's what the DD 214 said.
So are you still attending the stepping stone, or you're done?
No, I'm not attending that stepping stone because I don't have any problems of committing suicide or hurting anybody. I'm just want to be heard, you know, and that's basically it. And I think we have a right to complain about what is realistically happening, and that's what I believe, you know. And I told him, I said, you know, let the law do its job, you know, and we'll talk about it in court. That's the way I see it. That's why you have a law. Let them do the job. Yeah, that's right. The lady I work for is nice. She's retired. She's Army. She's an Army reservist. She's a colonel. She's a JAG, and I work for her part time. And I told her, you know, she knows that I'm disabled, but she's kind of hired me, you know, to help her out. I don't do much. I just do, you know, just regular paper filing, you know. And she's got another woman she's from India. Her name is Ava. She's an attorney too. So I mean, they're pretty nice people. I mean, to take me in, and I told her, I said, no, if you have any problems, just whatever. Am I doing my job correctly? Let me know. I won't feel. You're not going to break my heart. You know, I'm just trying to get back into the working thing.
Is it full time?
It's part time until they think that I can, you know, that I can handle the job. But as long as I'm medicated and I'm showing up to work on time, if they want to offer me benefits and offer me good insurance, and I'll stay with the company. I mean, it's a big law firm. You know, they've got 4 or 5 people in there.
What's the name of the law firm?
Laubach, Don Laubach, and Ava.
Okay, so we remove the medications and take it to the
Okay.